Life Abroad, helping you navigate your life in Korea.
And helping us sort through the news is reporter Angela Chung. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning, Sunyan.
All right, well, let's start off with the weather report and all the predictions of snow. Where is it? I have to say, I think a lot of people were expecting heavy snow. That was what was in the weather forecast. But it seems like we're not really getting any snow right now in the capital. What's going on?
Yes, today's snowstorm was expected to be heavier than the 6th and or the 12th last week. And the KMA issued preliminary snow warnings last night. And even this morning, I got a warning text messages. So I was pretty worried about today's commute. But when I woke up, as you said, we didn't really see any snow. And even now, I don't think anyone's really suffering from their commute. The KMA announced yesterday Gangwon province and eastern part of Gyeonggi province could experience up to 10 centimeters of snow, while Seoul and its surrounding areas may see snow of up to 3 to 8 centimeters. And the KDCA also raised the level of emergency warning from level 1 to level 2 late last night. So as a result, the capital's district government offices, the Seoul Facilities Corporation, and other public institute have gone into emergency duty mode since yesterday. So as a result, over 2,000 people have been dispatched for urgent work as of now, such as clearing snow or spraying de-icing chemicals on steep pathway to prevent passengers from slipping and falling. But yeah, right now we're not seeing as much as snow. And KMA just announced that not as much is expected. So we don't quite have to worry too much at the moment.
Right. Well, I guess it's better that we sort of err on the cautious side. And I think the health authorities and city traffic authorities learned their lesson on the 6th.
Right.
And people like myself, we just left our cars at home just in case. But I heard, according to the initial predictions anyways, there were some other key differences between the forecast for this snow compared to the previous two snowfalls.
Yeah, today compared to the 6th, the temperature is a bit higher, which means it's warmer. So the snow was not supposed to get really freeze immediately, which is really good and safe. Also, if you remember the last two times it snowed heavily, they both happened in the late afternoon around the time when people go back home from their work. But this time, it was supposed to start snowing in the early morning,
right.
Or as of now, maybe early afternoon throughout the entire day.
Right, but even if it does snow, not too much, right? Less than 2 centimeters right now is the forecast.
Yes.
Now, I can't remember the last time that we got so much snow over the span of just a couple of weeks. And I hear there might be even more snow heading our way.
Yeah, speaking of which, the agency added that the country is likely to experience another flurry this coming weekend. So if you have any plan to be active outdoors or drive any far distance, please be careful.
All right, let's move on to our next item now. Well, disappointing a lot of business owners and maybe also disappointing just regular people who had hoped for maybe an easing of the social distancing measure. The government has announced it's going to keep the current level at 2.5 in Seoul and surrounding areas. Do you know why they didn't lower it to level 2?
Over the weekend, the officials warned the country's daily coronavirus cases haven't fallen enough to consider placing Greater Seoul at level 2 yet. So for the Seoul metropolitan area to be lowered to level 2, Korea would first need to have fewer than 500 new COVID-19 infections a day on average for a week. But over the past week, the daily average was 516 patients. So they decided to keep the current 2.5 measures.
Right. So we'll have to see what the numbers look like today. The news reports from the morning are predicting somewhere between the 300 to 400 range.
Right.
So hopefully we'll hit that target this week. But there are some new changes being applied starting today.
So from today, some business restrictions will be eased, such as on cafes, gyms, and some other indoor facilities. First of all, we'll be able to not only eat and drink inside coffee shops, but also be able to go to indoor gyms, cram schools, and even karaoke's. Well, these businesses will be allowed to reopen on the condition that they strictly adhere to antivirus measures, including a maximum capacity of one person per 8 square meters and a closing time of 9 p.m.
Okay, 8 square meters. That may be difficult for a lot of people to kind of picture. Can you maybe reference that in an
Yeah.
easier way?
If you are familiar with the Korean pyeong, 8 square meters is around 2.5 pyeong. But if this is still hard for you to imagine what this is like myself, it's around 9 feet from one person to another.
Okay. Have to admit, that's still a little bit difficult for me. I'll just stick to the 8 square meters. All right. What about private gatherings and also the houses of worship? Any difference in the regulations there?
Yeah, the ban on gatherings of 5 or more people applied to the entire nation will be extended for 2 more weeks until the end of this month. Houses of worship will be permitted to hold in-person services at up to 10% capacity in the capital area and up to 20% capacity in the rest of the country. And lastly, as Lunar New Year is approaching, the government has designated February 1st until 14th as a special antivirus period. So during those 2 weeks, the government is looking into charging toll fees on expressways to discourage travel. Like last year's Chuseok, we're strongly advised to not visit our friends or family this time and stay home to be safe.
Right. Let's keep those numbers down. Moving on to our next item, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism has announced it's going to recruit 500 new story mamas. And that has a very strange sort of connotation, story mamas. But what exactly are these story mamas? Apparently they're storytellers, right?
Right.
Okay.
The Korean Studies Institute, along with the Culture Ministry, started this business back in 2009. So this year is its 13th year. Well, story mamas, quote unquote, are supposed to read out Korean traditional stories to kids and expand opportunities for communications between generations. So far, 5,664 those storytellers have been involved, and among them, 4,130 are still active today. So this new story mamas will be dispatched this coming October after some training. But considering the COVID-19, they're most likely to practice online this year. And you're eligible to apply if you're a Korean female between the ages of 56 and 74. And if you love to read stories and interact with little kids, you should definitely apply.
Sounds great. It sounds like you would maybe awarded a certificate, or how long would that apply for?
Yes, after some training, you'll be given a certificate, and this certificate is valid for 5 years, but this can be extended after evaluations based on the 5-year activities. Until 2 years ago, these mamas were trained for 7 months and be able to meet children the following year. But starting this year, the training can be completed within 60 hours over 5 months, and they can begin to be active from October. So if you're interested, please feel free to check out the official website, which is www.storymama.kr, and apply from tomorrow until this Friday, the 22nd, via mail or email.
All right. Thank you very much for those updates, Angela. Have a great week, and we'll see you again on Friday.
Okay, thank you.